The internet hasn't been the same since Maurice Sam and Sonia Uche decided to stop pretending and finally show the world what's been simmering beneath the surface all along. You know those two people who act like they're just friends but everyone can see the electricity between them. That was Maurice and Sonia. For months, fans watched, guessed, and whispered. Every shared glance, every laugh, every accidental touch had people saying, "There's something here." And when Maurice finally dropped his guard and showed his feelings, it felt like the grand finale of a love story the audience had been patiently waiting to see unfold. It all began with one picture, Sonia in pink, glowing like the sun had chosen her as its muse. She didn't post any long captions, no explanations, just that confident, dazzling photo that stopped social media in its tracks. The look in her eyes was different, soft, peaceful, maybe even loved. People zoomed in like digital detectives, studying her expression, her outfit, everything, looking for clues. And they found what they were looking for, the calm, happy glow of someone adored by the right person. The pink wasn't just a color that day, it was an energy, a statement that said, "I'm loved, I'm radiant, and life is good." But the real chaos began when a video surfaced. A moment so romantic it could have been pulled straight out of a movie. There was Maurice Sam, handsome and confident, looking at Sonia like she was the only person in the world that mattered. Then he said the words that sent everyone spiraling into a collective meltdown, "All my money is for Sonia." That was it. The internet exploded. That single sentence was replayed, quoted, remixed, and captioned 1,000 ways. It wasn't even about money, it was about devotion, about a man being so sure of his feelings that he declared them publicly without hesitation. Suddenly, every timeline was filled with heart emojis, comments, and memes. People were screaming, laughing, blushing, and maybe even crying a little. For once, the internet wasn't fighting or canceling anyone, it was united by something pure and joyful. Everyone wanted to be part of it. They wanted to believe again, to feel that rush of witnessing two people fall in love so openly. For a few days, it felt like the entire digital world paused to celebrate love. And what made it all hit harder was that nothing about it felt fake. These weren't carefully posed, brand-approved photos. There were no professional filters, no promotional gimmicks. The videos looked personal, shaky hands, real smiles, inside jokes. It wasn't a team managing their image, it was just two people recording moments because they wanted to remember them. That rawness made it all feel so much more real. In a world full of filters and fakeness, Maurice and Sonia's story felt refreshingly honest. Maurice's openness was especially striking. Most celebrities keep things mysterious, protecting their image like it's part of their contract. But not him. He came out with full confidence, proudly showing Sonia off like she was a trophy of his heart, not his ego. It wasn't about showing off wealth or power, it was about celebrating someone he genuinely admired. And that courage resonated deeply. People saw in him what they wished more men would be, expressive, loyal, unafraid to love loudly. What made it even more beautiful was how full circle the moment felt. Months earlier, Sonia had playfully called Maurice her everyday crush. It seemed like one of those cute, harmless things celebrities say, but now it feels prophetic. That crush turned into something real, something mutual. It's the kind of story people dream about, the girl who shoots her shot in public and gets a happy ending. Seeing Maurice respond with the same energy, the same affection, turned it into a fairy tale people couldn't stop talking about. And then there was that look, the one that became the talk of the internet. The way Maurice looked at Sonia wasn't the kind of look you can fake. It wasn't just attraction, it was admiration, pride, and a little bit of awe. That gaze became the new standard. People joked that they wouldn't settle until someone looked at them the same way. It became a meme, a dream, and a benchmark for real affection. Because in that moment, you could see everything, the comfort, the respect, the quiet understanding that goes beyond words. Fans didn't just watch this story unfold, they built a whole community around it. The energy in the comment sections turned into something almost magical. People were gushing, supporting, and even defending them like family. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was a shared experience. Strangers bonded over the joy of seeing two people happy together. The love felt contagious, spreading through timelines like sunlight after a storm. For once, social media wasn't about envy or judgment, it was about collective happiness. Their story reminded everyone what love should look like, not secretive or overly curated, but bold, honest, and proud. Maurice and Sonia weren't just another couple for entertainment, they became a symbol of emotional sincerity in an age where everything feels transactional. Watching them interact felt like watching proof that real affection still exists. People started tagging their partners, jokingly demanding the Maurice energy in their lives. Some even said it reignited their faith in relationships, that it gave them hope after heartbreak. The soundtrack behind one of their clips added another emotional layer. The song playing softly in the background, "All My Ego Is For You," wasn't random. It was poetic, like a confession wrapped in melody. The lyrics matched the energy perfectly, speaking about surrendering pride and embracing vulnerability. It's rare to see someone, especially in the public eye, express that level of emotional openness. But Maurice did. And it made people reflect on their own relationships, wondering when love became something to hide instead of celebrate. The authenticity of their story hit differently because it didn't feel rehearsed. You could see it in the way they laughed, the way they filmed each other casually, the way they seemed at ease even in the spotlight. There was no performance, no pressure to appear perfect, just two people enjoying each other's company. In an entertainment industry built on illusions, that kind of transparency felt revolutionary. What this whole moment revealed is how hungry people are for real connection. The excitement wasn't just about celebrity romance, it was about what it represented: hope. Hope that love doesn't have to be complicated. Hope that you can still find someone who looks at you with pure admiration. Hope that vulnerability can still be beautiful. The internet may have made them trend, but their story made people feel. Every fan who watched this unfold felt like part of the story. There were the old followers, the day ones who had been rooting for them from the start, and then the new fans who stumbled in, caught up in the whirlwind. Together, they formed something rare, an online community united not by drama or scandal, but by joy. It was wholesome, refreshing, and deeply human. People found comfort in watching love bloom naturally, without pretense or manipulation. The beauty of this story isn't just in the romance itself but in the ripple effect it created. It brought smiles to timelines, softened hearts, and sparked conversations about what love should feel like. It reminded everyone that in a world where relationships are often built for attention or clout, there's still room for something real. Maurice and Sonia became the internet's favorite love story not because they tried to be, but because they simply were. The way Maurice looked at Sonia, the way she glowed around him, the unspoken tenderness between them, it all told a story words could never fully capture. It was the story of two people who found something genuine in a world obsessed with filters and performance. It was the reminder that love doesn't always need a script. Sometimes, it just needs two people brave enough to say, "This is us." And maybe that's why this story has stayed in people's hearts. Because it's not just about two celebrities. It's about the rest of us, those who've loved, lost, hoped, and dared to believe again. It's about finding joy in watching someone else's happiness and realizing that love, real love, still has the power to make the internet, and the world, stop for a moment. Maurice Sam and Sonia Uche didn't just give us a viral moment, they gave us something to believe in. Their story became a gentle reminder that even in the chaos of modern relationships, affection, loyalty, and openness can still shine through. It's the kind of love that makes people smile at their phones, send screenshots to their friends, and whisper, "Someday, I want that too." Because when love is this real, it doesn't just trend, it transforms.